Maternal Instinct, Chapter 6, Demon Night. The possible family car sped through the streets of Milton with a speed and fury that would make any race car envious. To the driver, that's exactly what he was in, a race. Not a race against another opponent, but rather time itself. Kim felt as he had to make up for all the time that was lost in the trip to her house and change into her missing clothes. As he suspected, Jim had her own set, which, like hers, consisted of loose pants, though khaki instead of cargo, and a multi-pouch belt. The difference came into their choice in tops. While Kim wore a black crop top, Jen wore a full navy blue shirt that was made out of leather. Apparently, the girl had extra material laying around from her days in live-action role-playing games. Unfortunately, the idea brought up very unpleasant memories of her cousin Larry. The only difference between their uniforms were elbow and knee pads sewn into Jen's, was apparently a Kevlar mess for added protection, though exactly how Kim couldn't figure it out. Dave apparently was just in his street clothes for all their missions, which was fine for Kim because it meant less time wasted. After they had piloted the car, Kim sped off without another word, determined to find the warehouse Pazuzu was hiding out in and stop him from hurting either Shigo or Shin. The thought brought her back to the present as she focused on her surroundings. By the time they reached the warehouse district, it was dark and provided them with extra cover, but also made it hard to spot the proper building. "There!" David shouted, pointing to the right. "I see it!" Kim said softly, turning towards the alley. As he parked the car out of plain sight and they all piled out, the group stood and took in the building for a moment before Kim spun to face them and started issuing orders. "All right, Jen and I will go in through the top. Ron, you and Dave try to find a side and back entrance to come through," she said. "Right!" The three others replied together. The decision made, Kim and Jen walked away from the boys towards the south side of the building, which was thankfully covered in mostly darkness. They glanced out to the very top of the building again, and could see a strong ledge they used to pull themselves up. While Kim pulled out her grappling launcher from her backpack, Jen had a similar, smaller version attached to her right wrist. The sound of twin air capacitors being unleashed filled the air as the two lines shot upward. Once they attached themselves securely to the ledge, their respective owners followed them up, landing on our roof with two perfect somersaults. The girls flashed each other an impressed grin before moving to the roof entrance near them. Kim placed her hand on the doorknob, only to turn to find it. "Locked," she muttered. "Of course. Think I got something here and I can take care of that." "Oh, I know," Jen said as he knelt down in front of the lock. "Oh?" Kim's questioning noise was answered when Jen produced a small object from her belt and showed it to her. "A bobby pin?" the redhead asked skeptically. Jen simply nodded and began to work with the lock with the pin. Kim crossed her arms over her chest and stared down at the other young heroine, still looking rather unconvinced. "Hey, Kim, don't knock it. If you're a Fallout fanboy, this is a godsend." "I don't really think," she started, but stopped when an audible click was heard. "You'd be amazed how often that looks," Jen replied with a satisfied look. Kim merely muttered something incoherent as she turned the knob and pushed the door open. She took the lead as they walked down the dark flight of stairs, the only light source coming from the flickering fluorescent lights overhead. She pulled out the communicator and switched it to a new feature Wade installed. A 3D wire grid of the building appeared on the screen, showing 10 different blinking dots. 6 of them were a bright reddish-orange, while 4 were a dull blue. "Okay, so if this thing is working right, then we're here." Kim pointed to a set of lights on the stairwell. "Ron and Dave are just about here." She pointed to another set of making its way into the building into the ground floor. "So this must be Pazuzu and Shigo." She pointed to a pair in a large room at the bottom of the building. "Right. So that means these other dots here are the Grudlings," Jen said, pointing to one of the blue dots. "Looks like most of them are on the ground floor. 2 are moving around this main room, while the other is getting closer to Ron and Dave. I think they can handle themselves pretty well. At least Dave can. I'm sure he can look after Ron. Ron can handle himself pretty well." Kim snapped, tossing her head to the other girl. "All right, sorry. Didn't mean anything by it." Jen apologized. "So, where's the other Grudling? Let's see." Kim went back to the screen. "Looks like it's on the 2nd floor." "Right where we are." Jen pointed to above them. Kim looked up and saw they were indeed just outside the door that led to the 2nd floor. She put the communicator away, stepped over to it, grasping the long handle. Well, let's get this over with, she whispered. Jen nodded and readied herself. Kim tensed as well before she threw open the door, ready for anything that could come at her. It turned out to be nothing. The girls looked at each other and then shrugged and stepped through the doorway. Lying on the floor was barely better than out of the stairwell. From what they could see, they could tell the place hadn't been used for years. It was mostly empty, for only a few scattered boxes and decks here and there. A hint of moonlight shone through the cracks in the boards over the windows, giving them a lovely view of the torn and soiled green carpet. They continued to make their way across the floor cautiously. They knew Grudgelick was here somewhere. They just weren't exactly where. Kim brusquely thought of trying to communicate her again, but that might give them away. Instead, he put on a pair of night-vision glasses and looked around to the floor. It didn't take her long to notice another, slightly hunched-over figure stumbling around. She tapped Jen on the shoulder to get her attention, then passed the glasses to her. Jen looked in the direction she indicated, and then nodded before handing the glasses back. They crept over to where the demon stood, and thankfully found a stack of desks to hide behind. Alright, Jen, you have experience here. What do we do now? Kim asked in a hushed tone. When she received no other answer, she looked back to the other girl. Jen? Again, the question went unanswered, but this time Kim could see why. Jen was busy pulling out various items from her belt. The first two were circular objects that, with a push of a button, extended to about 12 inches each. She placed the end on the inside of one another. With a quick turn, they snapped into place. Next, she pulled out another circular object, though this one had two holders sticking out at each other and something to slide into place. That something ended up being a pair of collapsible blades that fanned out to become 6 inches when open. She snapped over to the holders on top, and a smirk held up a very dangerous-looking double-sided axe. She gave Kim a quick nod before running forward with a primal scream. This caused the grudge-like demon to turn towards her just in time to catch the axe in the forehead. Jen grunted as she pushed the blade in further, causing the creature to give off strangled, gurgling sounds as thick yellow-green liquid poured out of the wound, convulsed for a moment or two before finally stumbling to the ground. Kim watched all of this in wide-eyed terror, and Hesley felt herself afraid to move from the spot. Pushing it back, she stood up and walked over to the horrific scene, just in time for Jen to pull the weapon out of the demon's head. She placed a hand over her mouth in hopes to keep her lunch down. And that's how you take down a Grudgelick, Jen explained. Ugh. A bit violent, isn't it? Kim asked, staring down at the dead thing. Trust me, that thing would kill you in a heartbeat. Now come on, we still got to rescue someone, right? Kim made some kind of absent-minded agreement as she continued to look down at the bleeding creature at her feet. Although she always claimed she could do anything, this she wasn't so sure about. She shook it off and followed Jen. The girl was right. There was still a rescue left to do. She hoped Ron and Dave would be alright. Much like the girls, the boys found themselves wandering through the darkened hallways of the old warehouse. They had gotten by the locked door with an assist from Rufus, and were now searching for the right direction to go. Without a communicator there to guide them, it turned out to be quite a chore. Ron looked around in every direction he could, while Rufus covered the ones he couldn't. While blinding and walking into danger wasn't anything new for him, the type of danger he was walking to was beginning to unnerve, so he decided to break the tension the only way he knew how. So, you guys do this kind of stuff all the time? He whispered. You mean the demon hunting stuff? Dave whispered back. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say all the time, but quite frequently, yes. Wow, that's gotta be weird. You either get used to it for a while. Besides, Pazuzu's not that bad. The one you really gotta watch out for is Fearcrow. Fearcrow? Ron repeated. Oh, I bet he's like a guy dressed up in a scarecrow outfit that uses gases and stuff to make people afraid, right? No, he's an actual living scarecrow, Dave replied. Oh, well that is weird. Yeah, it's a fear demon living inside that thing. He does induce fear, but he mostly uses it to make himself stronger. Well, pain to fight to cause, we're never sure if we actually killed him or not. Yeah, it's kinda like that with me and KP. I mean, we don't kill our villains, obviously, but you can never be sure they'll stay in jail. That could be a problem, too. That's the one thing I like about the demon thing. We can usually banish or kill them, or never have to worry about them again. Ron muttered, not sure how to respond. Guess we're lucky then that the only really mystical guy we tangle with is Monkey Fist. Monkey Fist. Dave glanced back at Ron. And you think our guys have weird names. Hey, I'm not the one to judge on the weird name thing. The villains do that to themselves. So, what's up with Monkey Fist? Crazed, monkey-obsessed guy had genetic manipulation done to give himself monkey hands and feet. Wants to be the Monkey King. Always trying to get him more mystical monkey power. Whoa. Hold up, Dave replied. You mean someone actually went after the mystical monkey power? You know about it? Ron asked in surprise. Yeah, we've come across a few times looking up other stuff. Never bothered to check it out, because it seems too stupid. I have mystical monkey power. Oh, it's still stupid. Yeah, I really could live without it. Monkey, fine. Rip squeaked from Ron's pocket. Wait. Dave spoke, remembering something else from the conversation. You said he had genetic alterations done? Yeah, by a woman named DNA Amy. Ron explained. Real act job, too. He's trying to make real-life cuddle buddies. Dave looked horrified at the idea. That woman is a monster and must be stopped. Yeah. So, why do you ask? 'Cause we've crossed paths with a guy who genetically altered. Calls himself Keenus and is some sort of half-wolf, half-man kind of thing. Just wondering if this DNA me or the woman did that to him now. Wouldn't put it past her. She is pretty... Ron pointed to it by twirling his left index finger around the side of his head. Dave chuckled a bit at this, but stopped when he heard a slight snarling sound. He and Ron both turned towards the sound to find a Grudlick standing a few feet in front of them, with his back turned to him. He quickly ducked behind a pillar, and after a moment, peered out at the greyish demon again. So, what do we do? Ron whispered. Dave looked around for something that could be used to take that thing down. He found an old discarded pipe with a bent and sharp end. He smiled and then motioned for Ron to stay there. He stuck across the floor to where the pipe lay and picked it up quickly as he could. He checked to make sure the Grudlick didn't hear him, but a thankful sigh when it appeared it did not. With the straight end of the pipe in his hand, persisted high above his head, and began to turn towards the demon. Look out! He shouted. The demon turned in a sudden outburst, then cried out in pain as the sharp end of the pipe was dived into his forehead. Dave grunted as he pulled the pipe out and took another swing at the injured Grudlick, this time knocking it dead to the ground. He gave out a deep breath as Ron walked over to him. He and Rufus both looked in open-mouthed horror between the fallen demon and the boy who had just felt it. Hey, I warned him, Dave said with a shrug. Now come on. Yeah. Ron muttered and followed him. I really wonder when he got himself involved in this time. Hope KP's doing better, he thought. Deep within the faint form of the ground floor, Pazuzu still stood at his altar, mixing potion and oblivious to what was going on around him. His only concern at the moment was getting the potion just right. Once it was finished and applied to his guests, that the ultimate warrior would be under his control. And if it didn't work, well, he'd just leave Chico's remains for her friends to find and start over in Los Terminos. Though, he sincerely hoped he had not gone to all this trouble just to find out the baby was a dud. With one last mix of the bowl and one last sprinkling of powdered demon bones, the concoction was complete. He smiled as he set the mixture aside and picked up a spreading instrument, bowl and spreader in hand. He turned and walked back to where Shigo lay helpless, and let out a deep, rumbling chuckle as he saw the fight still in her eyes. Not giving up yet? He questioned. I almost admitted that, but it's pointless. Once this is applied to you, the process will be irreversible. Touch my baby, and we'll find out just how irreversible your face is! Shigo said famously. Defiant to the last, Pazuzu remarked as he roughly pulled her sweater over her stomach. No, hold still. This will hurt a lot. What? You gonna make me listen to more of your babbling? A voice quipped. Pazuzu looked to his left side, the direction the voice had come from. Dave soon stepped out of the darkness of the corner and grinned at the would-be demon. You, Pazuzu growled. Me. He replied, before his hand shot forward and knocked the bowl out of the villain's hands. Oops! No! Pazuzu shouted, staring at the paste-like liquid now spilling over the floor. He growled in anger as his head shot towards the one that ruined his work. Dave gave a half-hearted shrug of apology before starting to run back into the darkness. Unfortunately, Pazuzu proved to be faster than Dave thought, for the demon quickly wrapped a yellow, clawed hand around the boy's neck. He lifted choking Dave into the air with one hand and glared dangerously at him. "Insolent little rub," Pazuzu grumbled. "I will kill you for that. The last sound you will be here will be that of your vertebra cracking, one by one." "Pazuzu, let him go!" Another voice sounded, this one familiar to the masked man as well. He held Dave firmly in his hand as he slowly turned to see Jen standing across the room, holding her axe high for a fight. "I'm the one you want," he said. "No, she's the one I want," he replied, pointing to Shigo. "You're just a bonus." "I guess that makes me an extra bonus, huh?" Kim asked, walking up beside Jen. "Impossible," Pazuzu whispered, finally dropping Dave and giving her full attention. "Now this is a pleasure. I've long waited to cross swords with you, but I've had to contend with your inferior imitation." "Who are you calling inferior?" Jen snapped. "Let Shigo go, or I'll show you what I'm capable of," Kim threatened, ignoring Jen's outburst. "As much as I'd love to, I can't. I have more important matters to attend to. But my friends would be more than happy to keep you company." "Kill them!" By Suzu's command, the last two remaining grunt-like demons charged for Kim and Jen as fast as their squat legs could carry them. The two girls readied for themselves for the oncoming battle. "Ready for this?" Jen asked Kim. "I think so," she replied. "Just remember, they're not human and they won't hesitate to kill." "Right." With that, the two parted ways, each running to meet their respective opponent. As the fights began, Pazuzu turned his attention to the small puddle on the ground. There was still a chance he hadn't lost his potency, but he would have to act fast. Just as he started to walk towards it, he felt something tug on his cape. He turned to see Dave standing on his feet and holding his sore throat. "Hey, Magic Man, we're not done yet," the boy said bravely, then threw a punch that landed perfectly on Pazuzu's jaw. It was an action he regretted, as in seconds his hand began to throb in pain. "Ow!" he shouted, waving the hand in the air, trying to lessen the pain. "Foolish boy, my mask isn't just latex," he informed, looking more towards Shigo than Dave. "It and the rest of my costume have been reinforced with a Kevlar lining. It is a trick I picked up for you and your friend Jen there." "Well, I'm sure she would be very proud of that fact," Dave quipped. Pazuzu merely lunged forward and grabbed the collar of his coat before hurling him over the table Shigo lay strapped to. A surprised scream came over not only from Dave, but also Ron, who chose in that moment to sew up and try to free Shigo. Rose and Dave was sailing over the blonde sidekick and barely missed his hit by inches. Fortunately, that didn't help him escape the fog demon's nose. Hi?" Ron greeted with a slightly nervous wave. Pazuzu merely let out an annoyed grunt as he unsheathed his sword and swung it towards Ron, hoping to decapitate the boy. Ron ducked the blade in time and it swung dangerously close to Shigo's belly. Thankfully for everyone's sake, it missed and the villain pressed his attack, lunging over the chair with the sword above his head. Ron let out another terrified scream when he realized that Pazuzu wanted to do with a weapon. Quickly picked himself up, so it merely hit the concrete floor harmlessly. Ron moved over to where Dave had just been coming to and held him up. "So, what do we do now?" he asked, glaring at the angry costume man with a sword. "We try not to die," Dave remarked. "Works for me." Kim performed a backward somersault to avoid another swipe from the grudgeless claws. The good news was that Jen's statement about them not being very bright proved true. It also turned out they weren't very fast, so that gave her an advantage as far as avoiding them was concerned. The bad news was that Jen had been right about their hardened skin. Every kick and punch she landed felt more like punching a bag of cement. Trying to reach the weak forehead resulted in her being swatted away like a fly by their long arms. So far, she had been lucky and not received any serious cuts, but she knew that wouldn't hold out forever. "Come on, Possible. You've been in 100 fights before," she thought as she ducked under another swipe. "Admittedly, not against an even, but there's still a way to beat this thing. You know its weakness, so how do you exploit it?" She lashed out with another kick to its sternum, to try and slow it down, before she backflipped away to get some space to think. She looked around the large room for something, anything that might give her an edge. She paused when she noticed several crates resting on a suspended pallet high above the floor. She also noticed that, with just a little bit of prodding, she could get the demon to stand right underneath it. "Well, that's convenient," she smirked. "Hey, Ugly, come on! I'm right here! Free Kim Possible Dinner's plate special!" As he spent it, their gauntlet took a plate, its head straight right for her. With a smirk, she pulled out her boomerang comb from her pocket and threw it as hard as she could towards the pallet. It hit perfectly on the rusted old hook, holding the crates up and causing it to rock back and forth. When the boomerang returned to her hand, Kim tossed it one more time across her fingers so in hopes that her plan would work. The pallet shifted again, and this time a slight creaking could be heard. One more toss, and the corroded metal finally gave way, just in time for the demon to be standing right up. "I'd look up if I were you," Kim advised. The Redcliffe did just that, and had time to let out one pathetic scream for the crates to crash down on him, crushing him completely. Kim placed the comb back in her pocket with a slight smirk. It quickly disappeared when she heard Ron calling out her name. "KP! Help! Run!" she called out in concern, when seeing him and Dave ducking under Pazuzu's sword. She narrowed her eyes in anger and darted towards the deranged villain. She jumped into the air, she closed in on him, and took him down with a perfectly timed jump kick to his head. He let out a scream of pain as he fell to the ground, dropping the sword in the process. Kim quickly stood up from the crouch she landed in and looked over to the two boys. "You alright?" "Oh, I'm just fine," Dave remarked. "I'm good," Ron said calmly. "Good. You two go help Kigo while I'll deal with him." She nodded towards Pazuzu. "Right!" They both said and ran back to the table. Pazuzu rubbed his chin as he slowly got to his feet. Even with his armored costume, the blows still hurt. He looked over his shoulder, just barely caught the sight of Kim out of the corner of his eye. He shrugged his shoulder, so his cape fell in front of his right arm to block her view, as it slithered to a pouch attached to its belt. "You're done, child. You're everything I've heard you are," he commented. "Flattering not gonna make me pull back," Kim snarled. "You kidnapped the mother of my child. Don't think I'll forget that anytime soon." "Well, of course, but you won't be around to worry about it." And as he spun around, threw an object from her pouch. It looked like a simple black ball, about the size of a baseball. But Kim had fought enough villains to know better. Thinking quickly, she brought her foot up and kicked the thing away. As soon as it hit the ground, it exploded, proving Kim's theory. Unfortunately, the second that one went off, he threw another her way, causing her to jump to his side to avoid it this time. As he tossed the third one, she jumped towards him and used the resulting explosion to push her towards him that much harder and faster. They collided together, fell to the ground, hands intertwined, fighting for dominance. As Kim's fight with Pazuzu continued, Jen found herself busy dealing with the last remaining grudge-like demon. It would be her luck to get the one that had actually carried on a decent fight. He used his tough skin as his advantage, and blocked every swing of her axe with his arms. Though it did seem to be doing some damage to him, it obviously was not enough to slow him down. Deciding she needed to be more aggressive, she took a chance and, after ducking under one of his swipes, tucked herself into a ball and rolled under his arms. When she stood up, she found herself face to face with him, which she broke by slamming the handle of her axe into his chin. He grunted a bit, stumbled enough for her to swing her axe to the bear, before she could strike the killing blow, though. He wrapped his long fingers around her waist and held her above his head. She let out a muffled cry as his claws tore through her clothes and bit into her skin a bit, but she pushed it back and slammed the axe into the middle of his back. The wrestling screamed as he let out, and allowing her to vault over and land behind him. Unfortunately, the axe succeeded in unlocking the blade that was stuck in his back. "Crap!" Jen shouted as he looked into her now single-bladed axe. She let out a fierce growl as it spun around, knocked the axe out of her hand, sending it flying towards the middle of the room. "Double crap!" The two combatants glared at each other for a second, before the grudgling brought his hands together above his head and swung him down. Again, Jen rolled aside, just inside their reach, but this time jumped up and over the creature onto his back, more specifically, to grab the discarded blade stuck there. She pulled it out with all her might, and an extra added kick it came out, sending her sprawling to the ground, and the demon stumbling forward. She was quick to pick herself up, and just as spun back towards her, she grabbed the end of the blade, and with all her might, hurled it towards him. Luckily, the blow struck true, and the blade buried itself into its forehead, causing him to wobble a bit. Then, taking advantage, she ran forward and performed a jump kick herself, shoving the weapon further into the demon's head and killing him. Jen sighed in relief, but her moment didn't last long. As she heard a pain scream, she looked across the room and saw Kim laying on her back, with Pazuzu standing over her ready to strike. "Kim!" she cried out, bolting across the room as fast as she could. Surprising even herself of how quickly she approached the fight, she nevertheless brought her left elbow and right hand holding her left balled one. She smashed into Pazuzu's face with all her strength she could muster, growling pain as the blow landed in the same spot Kim's had, But this time he kept his balance. No time to counterattack, however, because Jen continued around, slamming her knee into his gut, fizzing him off with an open palm straight to the chin. When he fell to the floor, Jen jumped back to be at Kim's side. That's a pacifier, she stated as he held out a hand. Good to know. Kim replied as she took the offered hand and pulled herself to her feet. Still got some fight in you? Of course. Good. Then let's take him. In the midst of the girls' fight, Ron and Dave returned to their original mission, rescuing Kigo. They stood on either side of the table and inspected the device that held the woman's dangerous plasma powers in check. So, what do we do? Ron asked, looking at the device. What are you asking me for? Dave asked back. I thought you handled this stuff all the time. Not this. Look, I get the vision, I drive the car, occasionally I have someone, but for all the complex electrical, complicated stuff, that's strictly a Jen thing. What about you? You deal with death races and all the time. Yeah, but like you, I usually rely on Kim or Wade to figure out how to actually turn stuff off. I'm more the button masher type. Ugh, I'm being rescued by the Roxbury twins, Seeger muttered. Hey, now's not the time to be snippy, Ron admonished. I think now's the perfect time to be snippy! Well, with that attitude, I don't know if I want to rescue you. Get me out of here! Dave turned to the screaming, by looking around for anything that might help. After catching a glimpse of something, he looked something and found it was Jen's forgotten weapon. Hey, we can use that to cut your hands off at the wrist. That could work, he suggested. We're not doing that, Shigo snarled. It's the only way. It's not the only way! It's one of the ways, Dave remarked with a shrug. Shigo pulled her restraints even more, as she let out a scream of pure, unadulterated annoyance. Pazuzu grunted as he blocked another punch and countered it with a backhand that sent the brown-haired girl crashing to the floor. He had little time to recover, however, as Kim landed with another roundhouse kick to his chest, grabbed the outstretched ankle, and quickly thundered towards the thus-standing Jen, and collided with a soft thud and she uttered a groan of pain as Jen fell again, this time with Kim on top of her. The demon wanted to be smart, and then used the momentary distraction to put some distance between himself and the two young heroines. He considered himself a decent grappler, but he knew when he was outmatched. He clearly underestimated the strength of the two girls, and now had to work the fight to his advantage. Unfortunately, he had a rather big advantage right there in the room. No, Jen said weakly when she realized where he was headed. Kim, get up! What? She asked as she pulled herself off the other girl. Snapped out of it. We have to stop him. We can't let him get to his... She stopped when the sound of an engine started filling the air. Glider. When he finished with his sigh, slunched shoulders. Okay, drop the ball on this one, Kim muttered. So besides the aerial advantage, what else can that glider thing do? Well, the lion's mouth can open and shoot out fireballs, Jen stated. Great. Then we gotta take him down fast. Decision made. Kim ran towards the hovering glider before he could turn it towards them and shot her grappling hook towards it. He clipped one of the wings just beneath Pazuzu's leg, and with a screech of surprise, Kim found herself launched into the air. Okay, maybe this wasn't the best idea, she mumbled as he hung on for dear life. Pazuzu looked down where the extra weight on the glider was, surprised to find Kim dangling from the rope. Deciding to have a little fun, he flew erratically around the room, turning sharp corners around the catwalks, and pillars and hostess smashing the girl into one of them. Fortunately for him, she just seemed just as adept at avoiding those objects as his punches. He let out an irritable growl after a moment. This isn't fun anymore, he called out. This is where you get off! He moved his left foot from the security strap control unit on the wing to press down on a nearly visible button next to it. The action caused the scorpion tail to unfurl from the bottom of the machine and lashed down at the rope, easily slicing it with its pointed tip. Kim screamed as she started to fall, but stopped when she was saved by Jem, who was swinging on her own grapple line. Gotcha! The brunette said as he swung towards the catwalk. They landed safely. Before they could think of their next move, Pazuzu turned the glider around and began to launch a hailstorm of fireballs from the lion's head in the front. Each girl ran off in the opposite direction along the quickly disappearing catwalk until they were on either side of him. He looked back and forth between the two of them, not sure which one to attack first. The choice was made for him when Kim jumped towards him. As he turned his back on her, she wrapped an arm around his throat and tried to put him into a chokehold, but found it very difficult due to the mask and cowl. He grabbed her shoulders, flipped her over him, and sent her flying to the ground. She was able to save herself by leaping off some of the pillars and boxes, landing perfectly on her feet with her hands in the air as if it were a cheer routine. Pazuzu turned to strike at her again. Jen took that as her cue to launch her own attack. Unlike him, she went for a more direct approach and simply kicked him in the back. The attack succeeded in knocking him off the glider, but he was able to grab onto the inside of the wings before he completely fell and flipped himself back onto it without even losing a bit of power. Jen, however, was not so lucky. The impact from her kick caused her to fly backwards. Again, unlike him, she didn't have anything to bounce off to land on safely. Thankfully, she was saved when the cheerleader ran underneath her and caught her. "Thanks," she said. "No big. We're even now." Kim replied as she took Jen to her feet. "So, what do we do now?" "Well, usually," Jen started looking up at the villain overhead, "we try to avoid the death from above as we think of a way to bring him down." "Not much of a plan, but at this point I don't think we have time to argue, huh?" "Nope." As they did their best to avoid fireballs and bombs being dropped on them, the two girls were well aware they were being watched by someone else. Kigo sighed in frustration as the fight dragged on, desperately wishing she could do something to help. Instead, she just had to lay there and be suspended by the rescue efforts of Buffoon 1 and Buffoon 2. She was seriously beginning to rethink the idea of cutting off her wrists, just so she could get away from the inane banter. At least it would be doing something. She hated feeling useless, and right now, that's essentially what she was. Useless and helpless. She wanted nothing more than to break the restraints, bounce off a few walls and boxes right there to the masked moron, and beat him with an inch of his life. But she couldn't. Even when she did get 3, she still couldn't add much more to the fight because of her condition. Again, her maternal side and her fire side came into conflict. She didn't want to do anything to hurt her baby, but she also wanted to kick a little ass. She was still getting used to the notion of doing one over the other. Something else struck her as she watched the two young heroines fight. Since the short time they had known each other, they seemed to adapt quite well to the others' moves. They complemented each other very well, and at times would strike identical blows. Kigo couldn't help but wonder how differently the fight would have gone had she been the one fighting out there alongside Kimmy. As with many fights the two had been over the years, they had gotten to know each other's moves quite intimately, and could almost perform them themselves. So, if they were actually working together, then imagine what a well-oiled machine would be. This fight would probably be over by now, if it was them out there. She felt it a little odd she actually wanted to help Kim in a fight, but given all they've been through the past few months, it seemed almost natural at this point. What was really striking her odd was the almost envious feeling she had towards Jen for being able to fight alongside Kim. Where did that come from, she wasn't sure. "I got it!" Ron said with a snap of his fingers, drawing the attention of the other two. "What? How'd I get these things off?" he replied, reaching into his pocket, pulling out his trusty partner. "Rufus!" "Oh, goody, mole rat to the rescue," Kigo quipped, sounding less than convinced. "I'll have you know that Rufus has figured out a lot of complicated things." "Nyeh!" Rufus squeaked in self-defense. Kigo just rolled her eyes and looked away as the naked mole rat jumped into the hand restraints, walked away the length of the device, studying it. He hummed and hawed for a while, before walking over to the control panel and pressing various buttons at once. To the great surprise of Kigo and Dave, the device gave a slight hiss when it popped open. Freeing her hands, Kigo brought her hands to her face and stared at him in disbelief. "I can't believe it," she whispered. "The hairless freak actually did it." "Told ya," Ron smirked. "Told ya," Rufus added. Kigo ignored it too as a devilish smile spread across her face. It was one Ron recognized instantly, for he had seen pointing in his direction many times back in the day. It was a smile that meant someone was in for a world of pain and was about to be pitied by all. Farrell screamed. She sat up and blasted the chains off her ankles, pulled herself onto bed. Dave was about to advise her to get to a safer place, but the white-hot look he gave told him to back off, which he wisely did. The green flames around her hands burned brightly with a rage that she barely tapped into. "I only have one good shot left today," she spoke softly, mostly to herself, "and I'm going to use it on that jackass that dared to take me hostage, threaten my baby, and try to kill Kim. He is so going down!" She let the power build to a few seconds longer before bringing both hands forward and unleashing it with a hellish scream of rage and emotion. As promised, she made one good shot toward the right wing off the glider and almost took Pazuzu's leg with it. He was flailed for a bit before he fell from the remains of the vehicle and hit the concrete floor with a hard, loud thud. Groaning in pain as he slowly picked himself off the floor. His reinforcements only did so much to protect him, while nothing felt broken. There were certainly a few sprains and many, many bruises. As he tried to recover from the fall, he, along with most of the others, failed to notice the black gloved hand picking up Jen's forgotten axe. It spun around to the brunt side and facing outwards, and the hand loosened its grip so the shaft would slide down until almost the hilt past the point it was gripped tightened again. The figure stalked towards the injured villain, determined to land a fizzing blow. "Hey, pale scale face!" it called out. Pazuzu spun to come face to face with an angry Jen. The next few seconds seemed to pass in slow motion as he brought the axe upwards to smash the underside of his chin. His head snapped back from the force of the blow as it launched into the air a few feet. Body went completely limp as it sailed through the air and once again hit the floor with a sickening crunch. "Now who's inferior?" she sighed. She dropped the axe and then walked over to his semi-conscious form. Rolled to his side, placed restraints on his wrists and ankles. As she picked up her weapon again and walked back over to where the others were standing around the table Shigo had been stepped to. "Shigo, are you all right?" Kim asked, even as she looked over the woman for injuries. "I'm fine now that I'm off that table and away from those two," she replied as she jerked her thumb towards Ron and Dave. "No love for the sidekicks," Ron sighed. "Tell me about it," Dave agreed. "Other than that, are you okay? Did you hurt Shin?" Kim asked, still looking frantic. "Real fine," Shigo reassured her, adding emphasis by patting her stomach. "Thank God." Kim sighed and inadvertently hugged Shigo. All right, I'm good. Just stop it already." "Oh, sorry." The redhead ripped some willow blush as she pulled back. "It's just been a nightmarish day." "We'll get used to it." A voice across the room threatened. All eyes turned to glare at Pazuzu as he pushed himself to a sitting position and smiled evilly at the group, particularly Kim and Shigo. "Don't let's up there on your little prodigy there," he warned. "I was merely the first, and what no doubt would be a very long line. Everyone wants to get their hands on that baby, either as leverage or simply as a way to cause you to pain. There will be others. There's nothing you could do to stop it." The rest of the group looked at each other for a moment, unsure of the best way to handle the situation. Shigo glared at the captured villain, then looked back to Jen. "That mask comes off, right?" she asked. "As far as I know. I usually let the authorities handle that," Jen replied. "Well, let's find out." Shigo made a purposeful stride over to Pazuzu, flipped back the hood, and grabbed a handful of the latex mask. Not caring if she was pulling out hair or even some scalp, with a hard yank the mask came out to reveal a bald man in about his mid-30s. He stared at Shigo with a burning hate in his bright yellow eyes. She returned the gaze tenfold, causing him to flinch slightly. The next action was her fist, slamming hard to his jaw, knocking him over with a loud cracking sound filled the air. His head bounced to the concrete before coming to rest as he fell unconscious. Shigo then walked calmly back to the others and handed the mask to Jen. "Here, souvenir," she simply said. Kim looked over at Pazuzu's limp form, then back to Shigo. Worry and confusion written over her face. "Shigo, you didn't," she asked. "Relax, he'll be fine. He'll just have to get through his food through a straw for a while," Shigo dismissed. "He still kinda hurts," Ron mumbled. "Well, yeah, he pissed me off. Plus, he tried to mess with my baby. No one does that." "At least not without getting hurt," Kim added, surprising Ron and Shigo. "Shin is my baby too, and I'm going to do everything to protect her." She placed her hand on Shigo's stomach before looking up to the woman's eyes. "And you. Hold me," Dave spoke up. "Could you be serious for a second?" He paused. "I'm serious. Hold me," he repeated as he held his head. All too familiar with this action, Jen reached out for his shoulders and held him firmly as the lady's vision ripped through his mind. He saw images of a short-haired blonde woman standing over a struggling Kim on top of a skyscraper. Another image of a flurry of monkeys dressed in black. A large woman in glasses with some strange lab prodding Shigo. Men in red and white uniforms with Greek glares chasing Kim through a mall. A flock of birds swarming Kim, Shigo, and Ron, while a man in a bird costume laughed triumphantly. A robotic blue face glaring angrily at Kim, while in the midst of a battle Shigo cried out in unimaginable pain. His head snapped up when it was all over, and looked at the other three, specifically at the two women, unsure what to say. "What was that?" Ron asked, appealing a bit freaked out. "Vision. And I really hate to agree with the man laying on the floor with the broken jaw. But he's right. A lot of people are coming after your baby." A heavy silence slung in the air at that moment. Kim wanted to believe this was a one-time incident, but she was only fooling herself. And the word really was out about her baby, as he knew a lot of her other villains would try to come after it. And apparently it wouldn't be just her villains to worry about either. There may be dark times ahead, but she was ready to face them. She wasn't so sure about Kigo, though she would never admit. Kim suspected this incident had taken its toll on her. How would she handle being the target of so many other former peers during the rest of her pregnancy? Bring 'em on! Kigo spoke quietly, as if hearing Kim's thought. What? You heard me. If they want to fight, we'll give them a fight. If they thought I was bad news when I worked for Dragon, just let 'em try to take my baby! She screamed with fury that made the devil himself quake with fear. Kim stared at the front door to her house longingly. It had been a trying day, and she really wanted to do now was go inside and rest. There was something else she had to do first. She turned out to face Jen Credible, the girl who proclaimed to be fighting a good fight, and everything she had to see today. She understood the meaning to her slogan. Thanks for all your help, Kim said, holding a hand out. Jen smiled broadly as she took the offer hand and shook it. Not a problem. It's what I do. It is an honor working with you, she guessed. Same here, Kim replied, pulling back her hand. This is what you have to deal with on a daily basis. That you definitely deserve more credit than the people seem to be giving you. It's nothing, really. You're still the best around. I mean, I can't understand how you could save the whole world all the time and still do the cheerleading thing and all that other stuff. It's hard, but someone has to do it. After a mutual nod of agreement, Kim turned and started to walk towards her door when Jen called out to her. This is one more thing, she said. Yeah? What's going on between you and Kigo? Jen asked, tilting her head towards the house. Well, what do you mean? Brandon asked, suddenly feeling nervous for some reason. Well, I think it's pretty obvious. There's something else going on besides you just protecting her for the sake of your child. You two almost seem like friends now. Well, I guess you could say we are. I mean, I know it seems weird, but I guess it just had to happen, right? Not really, Jen countered. She could have just taken the baby and run and not told you about it at all. Kim seemed to think this over for a moment. You're right. In fact, she almost tried to do that at first. But when I told her I wanted to help, she caved in almost surprisingly quickly. After that, we've been getting along pretty well. Well, at least as well as we can. Those who communicate with their fists, the brunette muttered, shaking her head in amusement. What? It's something from an anime I watched a few back. Can't remember the whole thing now. But the gist is that those who communicate with their fists, basically you, Kigo, me, and I guess Cobalt, she's pretty good. Kinda like my Kigo anyway. Jen rattled a bit, looking to get back on track. Anyway, we all have a bond between us that we even don't know about. She illustrated by throwing a soft punch at Kim, with the girl expertly caught in her right hand. See, you know that was coming without any warning at all. That's what the bond is. It's a form of respect that we have between each other, we're not even aware of. It's what pushes us to be a little better than our opponent. That's a little faster, stronger, or agile, or whatever. That need to be at the very top of our game. It gives them everything we've got. Because if you don't, you'd just be insulting them yourself. Kim concluded. I see where you're going now. Because we already had that respect built up. Because it's easier to build up a friendship once you've found something that forces us to put aside our grudge. Exactly, Jen remarked, pulling back her fist. So, you feel the same way about this Cobalt woman, then? Well, the respect, yeah, because she's pretty damn good, but... She paused as she figured out the best way to put her remark. Let's just say I don't think I could handle the kind of situation you're in. Jim chuckled and waved her off. Don't worry about it. If I think too much about it, I get freaked out. Jen was about to say something else when she was interrupted by her cell phone. After fishing around for her in her pocket, she pulled it out and held it up to her ear. Hello? She asked. Oh, Rose, what's up? She paused to listen to the response. Well, yeah, it'll take us a bit of time to get back to town, but yeah, we'll look into it. Another pause. We'll tell them not to go in there. I'll take a look more about it when I get back. Bye. She placed the phone back in her pocket and looked at Kim again. Then, got to go. Duty calls. Right, good luck. Kim West. You too. And if you need anything else, you know how to reach me. Same here. Kim waved Jen and Dave goodbye as they sped off into the night. She let out a small sigh of relief at finally being able to relax a bit. When she stepped into the house, however, her missing senses automatically kicked in, told her something was wrong. She wasn't sure what was wrong, but something was wrong. She became more clear when she walked into the living room and found Shigo sitting on the only half watching TV. The other half of her mind seemed to be fuming about something. Shigo, are you okay? Kim asked cautiously. I'm just peachy, Shigo answered, sarcasm dripping in her voice. I was taken hostage today like some crying little girl. I wasn't able to do anything about it. No, I had to wait for the great Kim Possible to come save me. Oh, and her new special friend, Jen Credible. Hooray! She held her hands together and shook them in an exaggerated way. Kim felt extremely confused. She could understand Shigo hating the idea of feeling weak. But what did Jen have to do with anything? Carefully, she made her way to the couch and sat beside the pregnant woman. She tried to place a comforting hand over Shigo's, but she just snatched it away, and Kim took in a deep, calming breath before she could even try to say anything. Okay, she said with an exhale. So let's try this again. You're mad. I get that. You're taking hostage and you didn't like it. Damn right I didn't like it, Shigo snapped, glaring dangerously at Kim. Let me explain things to you, princess. I do the kidnapping. I don't get kidnapped. Even on the off chance that I did, I certainly won't be saved by Kim Possible, her psychic, and two wannabes. There it was again. What has Jen or Dave got to do with any of this? Everything! Shigo shouted as she threw her hands in the air. It was her stupid bad guy that kidnapped Auntie after all. And then here you two coming and saving the day and making everything right with the world. Just fighting alongside each other like you've been best friends forever. Kim quirked an eyebrow. Was this really bothering her that much? And, she questioned, trying to get an honest response. And, it should have been me, the pale woman interrupted. I should have been the one fighting alongside you and rescuing that poor schmuck, instead of being the poor schmuck. Instead, I had to lay there, being with the other girl, while I was helpless to do anything. Just helpless. The situation turned more bizarre when she thought she never saw something being seen. Shigo started to cry. Of course, she started to fight back by hiding her sniffles and discreetly rubbing her eyes. But soon enough, she broke into a full sob. It buried her hands and all. Kim shifted nervously at the very strange and uncomfortable sight. All right, this has to be a hormone thing, she reasoned. What do I do? The question plagued Kim's mind. She continued to watch the woman she used to have deadly fist fights with cry like a child that lost its favorite toy. It might have been the very surreal circumstances involved that prevented her from thinking of anything. But she couldn't for the life of her come up with a comforting word. So instead, she decided to go for the next best thing. Come here, she said softly. She pulled Shigo into a caring embrace. Shigo shook for a moment out of her crying to be surprised, but was quickly returned in full. She wrapped her arms around Kim's back and rested her head on the girl's shoulder as the tears continued. Shh, it's all right, Kim whispered as she rubbed Shigo's back. I hate this, the other woman murmured. It's worse than those damn modulators because I can't turn this off. It's just a natural result of practicing, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be a blubbering mess. I don't want to be weak. You're not weak. You're one of the strongest people I know. That was the magic phrase I was looking for earlier. With just one sentence, Shigo knew the cheerleader was right. She was one of the strongest people. Not just Kim knew, but in the world. She could beat these stupid erratic emotions. She just needed the time to wait them out. Someone to knock some sense into her. Apparently that time belonged to Kim, and she couldn't be happier about it. Shigo let out a contented sigh as he nuzzled the girl's neck a bit. Then she realized what she was doing. She was actually nuzzling Kim Possible's neck, not to mention the hugging and being hugged by her. And she liked it, more than she probably should. Alright, hugging time's over, she demanded, trying to get back to her usual tough girl. I don't care attitude as they broke apart. Feeling better? Kim asked as she readjusted herself. Yeah, I'm fine. I think I'll watch the TV now, Shigo replied, picking up the remote and flipping through the channels. You sure you don't want to go to bed? A lot has happened to you and it's pretty late. I thought you were supposed to be Sid's mom, not mine. Besides, I feel... Her statement was stopped when a loud yard worked her way through her throat. Please tell me we're going to get some Kim and Shigo snuggles now, please! Kim gave a triumphant smirk at that. Shut up. Like I was saying, Kim started, but was stopped when she had to yawn as well. Now who's tired? Well, my day was busy too, and now if you know, I was planning on going to bed, but, I can't move, she said, trying to get up, but falling back as if proving her point. Believe me, I know the feeling. How about we just sit here and watch TV for a bit? We'll get to bed later. Agreed. They settled down more comfortably on the couch and stared at the TV as Kigo finally stopped on the comedy channel. On the screen was a comedian standing in front of a blue curtain with a strange purple-yellow puppet perched onto him next to him. They were into a routine about what city they were in, which the two ladies found quite enjoyable. No doubt they would have liked the rest of the show, but not long after they started watching, exhaustion took over, and he fell into a deep sleep. During the course of which Chico ended up resting her head on Kim's shoulder, while Kim rested her head on top of Chico's. She also laid her right hand on Chico's right, with the pale woman's own right hand resting on her belly. They each had a comfortable, dreamy smile on their faces as they left the outside world, completely oblivious of anything around them, including a bright flash and twin sets of light laughter running up the stairs. And we have Seagull Snuggles. I repeat, we have Seagull Snuggles. Woo!